Christmas starts here at H&L Rapid True Value. Get Christmas ready by shopping the latest in our catalog. The time brought to you by H&L Rapid True Value is...
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, 5 fire units are at this hour battling a massive blaze at an Azan Supercenter warehouse in Kingston.
And a probe will be launched into this morning's fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston.
The Education Minister, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, says a school safety policy is expected to be finalized by the end of the month.
We have to prioritize safety in schools, and our government is going to do whatever we have to do to make it clear to criminals that schools are not fair game.
JLP leader Andrew Holness says the PNP has no plan for Portland.
All they come and do is talk about me and tell lie for me and tell all kind of lie, but they have no plan.
Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake denies claims the JCF is deliberately stonewalling the use of body-worn cameras.
In news from the rest of the world, hundreds of Honduran villages cut off by torrential rain.
President-elect Donald Trump says he's prepared to declare a national emergency to fulfill his campaign promise of carrying out mass deportations.
In headline sports, Jamaica's coach Stephen McLaren wary of dangerous USA but still confident of Reggae Boys' victory in Titanic, Missouri clash tonight.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, 5 units are still battling a massive blaze that started at an Azan Supercenter warehouse on Ashenheim Road in Kingston. You'll hear more.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, rate the work of your MP. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica says state agencies with responsibility for road infrastructure should bear more of the blame for the poor state of the roadways. Its president, Richard Mullings, will join us. All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, November 18, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Up to news time, 5 fire units were still battling a massive blaze that started at an Azan Supercenter warehouse on Ashenheim Road in Kingston. The fire reportedly started at about 1:15 this afternoon. Commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police, Superintendent Damian Manderson, says the fire has spread to adjoining properties.
Fire, obviously, either the material that was engulfed or just the timing of it, but quickly spread, and of course the gust of wind that was in the air as well, I think aided that process. So several properties as it is now, spanning from 18 National all the way out to Manzana Drive, is pretty much engulfed. A number of fire trucks are here working, trying to control, first of all, I believe, the blaze. And we're working with the owners, the Azans, to see what can be salvaged from the fire area, the damaged areas, and also to provide necessary security.
That's Superintendent Damian Manderson, the commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police, and we apologize for the poor state of that audio insert.
Meanwhile, local government minister Desmond McKenzie says a probe is underway to determine the circumstances that led to a fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston on Monday morning. In a release to the media, Minister Mackenzie says the blaze destroyed 95 stalls, affecting the livelihoods of 54 vendors. Noting that the incident occurred less than 6 weeks away from Christmas, Minister Mackenzie says he has already spoken with the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby. He says once the investigation is complete, the vendors will be consulted about the way forward as they seek to recover from the incident.
The Education Minister, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, says a comprehensive school safety policy is expected to be finalized by the end of the month. It's aimed at curbing the alarming violence affecting educational institutions. Her comment follows 2 deadly attacks at 2 separate schools last week. Robian Williams reports.
Last Friday, tragedy struck Homewood Technical High School in Manchester when 47-year-old school bus driver Rohan Gentles, also known as Scrooge, was brutally killed on the school grounds. The incident occurred around 8 a.m. shortly after the start of classes. Reports indicate that Mr. Gentles was preparing to transport the school's football team to a match when he was attacked. Just hours later, in St. Andrew, a man believed to be a parent was fatally shot outside the gates of Russell Primary School. The attack happened between 8:30 and 9 a.m. This marked the second fatal incident at Russell Primary in less than a month. On October 15, another parent was killed on the school's premises, reportedly in full view of students. Speaking at Homewood Technical High on Monday, the Education Minister emphasized that there's an urgent need for robust protocols to ensure school safety.
There's a school safety policy that's been worked on between the Ministry of Education and also the Ministry of National Security that's been in the works, and I don't like that word in the works because too often in Jamaica things are in the works forever. But we have said that this needs to be completed at the end of the month. UNICEF is assisting the government in finalizing it, and we expect at the end of November that review to be done because we have to prioritize safety in schools. And our government is going to do whatever we have to do to make it clear to criminals that schools are not fair game. We're not supposed to be seeing these kinds of incidents in our schools.
The upcoming policy is expected to address the safety concerns with measures to enhance security and protect students and staff. Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says violence should not be tolerated, especially in the vicinity of schools.
So this is a problem that is not unique to Homewood, but it is something that as a country we cannot allow to continue without strong action. And so I give you my assurance here that I am going to ensure that the school safety policy is finalized and that we are working with the Ministry of National Security to ensure that we have as robust protocols as possible at all of our schools across Jamaica.
She adds that penalties for crimes committed at schools or near children will be examined.
The discussions around penalties for crimes that take place on a school compound or near a school or involving our children have to be expedited. That is not in question.
Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
They have no plan. That's Prime Minister and JLP leader Andrew Holness's opinion of the People's National Party, PNP's bid to win both constituencies in Portland. He was addressing party supporters at a JLP meeting in the parish on Sunday. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
Andrew Holness told jubilant JLP supporters at the joint East and West Portland Constituency Conference that the PNP is more concerned about telling lies about his administration instead of presenting proper plans for Portland.
They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to be better off. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create wealth for you. They don't tell you that. All they come and do is talk about me and tell lie upon me and tell all kind of lie. But they have no plan.
According to Mr. Holness, he has a clear vision for the country, unlike the PNP.
The reason why they have no plan is because they don't care. What they care about is power, and they will take the easiest way to power, which is to play upon your grievances in the same way that they are playing upon the grievances in the tourism industry to create disruption, which could potentially destroy the goose that is laying the egg for all of it to survive. And that is why when I take the platform, I make sure I tell you how I'm going to treat with the grievances you have. I tell you what the future is going to look like for you. And I tell you what I am doing now so that you can actually make it to the future.
Prime Minister Holness sought to ensure Portland labor rights that his administration will revolutionize the parish.
So my Portland friends, this administration has spent more money on the eastern end of the island than any administration put together for the last 50 years. We are dealing with the issues that matter to you, and I guarantee you that within the next 2 years, Portland is going to be a whole new parish. In the same way that we are investing in St. Thomas, we are also making the same investments here in Portland.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Member of the JLP Communication Task Force, Marlon Morgan, says workers in the tourism sector must be accorded the proper respect by management. Reacting to recent strikes at specific hotels across the island, Minister Morgan says workers must be provided with avenues to voice discontent to senior management.
One of the starting points is just to simply afford workers the forum and the dialogue, because the people have been complaining, I gather, they have been complaining amongst themselves as workers. All of them are seized as to what the challenges are, but they feel as though they have not had sufficient audience with management and they have not had a forum in which they can sit down, because I think what is needed at this time, separate and apart from the interface between the respective management of hotels and their workers, what needs to happen is interface between the ministry persons, the ministry players, and the operators of these hotels.
Staff at the Excellence Oyster Bay in Falmouth Trelawney took industrial action on Monday to register their frustration over wage concerns. This is the fourth protest by hotel workers in a month. Last week, workers at Ibero Star Hotel in Rose Hall, St. James also protested poor wages and working conditions at the property. This follows similar protests at Secrets Hotel in Montego Bay and the Royalton Hotel in Negril the prior week. Mr. Morgan says senior hotel management, made up of expatriates, has widely differing cultural expectations for workers that would not be tolerated in Jamaica.
And I think one of the challenges that is that a number of these operators and owners of hotels, Cliff, they have at the very top level in the operations expats. So whether it is a Spaniard, an Italian, a Mexican, someone from Dumrep, somebody else from somewhere else in Latin America, one of the challenges I think we're having in the hotel sector is that the leadership on the ground are expats from elsewhere in Jamaica, around the world, and they may not be sufficiently seized of a certain dynamic here in Jamaica.
Marlon Morgan, member of the JLP Communication Task Force.
The Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, has denied allegations that the JCF is engaging in a strategy of stonewalling where the use of body-worn cameras is concerned. The Commissioner issued the response-in-force orders issued on November 14. According to Dr. Blake, the level of effort and investment being spent on the technology demonstrates there is no resistance to the cameras. Norgay Banton has more in this report.
According to the country's chief constable, the JCF currently has 618 body-worn cameras available for use by its members across 24 formations. The force is now in the process of procuring an additional 750 cameras. According to the Commissioner, more than $2 billion have been spent over the last 3 years to ensure the proper storage and network infrastructure is in place to support the use of body-worn technology. Dr. Blake told the men and women of the force that the level of effort and investment in the technology challenges the narrative that there has been passive resistance inside the JCF to using the cameras. The Commissioner says body-worn cameras can be effective. He says whatever issues are causing a slow take-up in the utilization of the technology by the police must be urgently addressed. Commissioner Blake reminded JCF members that a policy is in place governing the use of body-worn cameras. He says the policy must be properly observed. Dr. Blake noted that the failure to turn on body cameras in 4 cited incidents by Indicom has given life to a narrative that there is resistance in the force to using the technology. He says when policy is not adhered to, it creates a situation where he says small things become a source of distraction. Dr. Blake reminded the men and women under his command that when the cameras are not used, their word of what happened is the only one that will not be seen. Blake says the police should have no hesitation in wearing the cameras, as it would exonerate them when false allegations are made against them. The commissioner says JCF members need to do all they can to support the investigation of police-related fatal shootings. He says the presence of members of the force who choose to act outside the scope of the law undermines the efforts of what he describes as brave heroes. Indicom has accused the JCF High Command of not doing enough to ensure the adoption of body-worn cameras in the force. The police oversight body says the presence of the cameras would assist significantly in their ability to investigate fatal shootings involving the police. Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rent-to-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-to-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-to-Kill is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Continuing the news, the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, has suspended all visits to adult and juvenile institutions island-wide for the next 2 weeks, ending December 2. This is due to the confirmed cases of influenza A H1N1 virus at the St. Catherine Adult and the Tower Street Adult Correctional Centers. In a statement on Monday, DCS says the suspension of visits is a precautionary measure. According to DCS, the suspension is necessary to prevent further spread of the virus while safeguarding the health and safety of inmates and staff. The department adds that drop-off food by family members scheduled for that should be Wednesday, November 20, will proceed as planned as per established guidelines. DCS says it's working with relevant ministries and agencies to manage and contain the spread of the virus.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, says 7 inmates at the Hunts Bay lockup are undergoing treatment for tuberculosis. The JCF says it's been managing an outbreak at the Hunts Bay lockup since August. It says upon detection, infected inmates were isolated along with JCF personnel who came into contact with the infected individuals. The St. Andrew South Police has been collaborating with the staff from the Southeast Regional Health Authority and the National Chest Hospital to address the issue. The JCF says outside of the 7 inmates being treated at the lockup, 5 are being treated at a hospital under a 24-hour police guard.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
More than 1,700 communities in Honduras are marooned due to torrential rain caused by Tropical Storm Sara. The slow-moving storm caused widespread flooding across the Central American nation on Sunday. Honduran officials have so far confirmed one death from the storm that formed in the Caribbean Sea on Thursday. But they say more than 110,000 people had been affected by the storm. The tropical storm was extremely slow-moving, dumping huge amounts of rain on northern Honduras for 4 days running before moving north to Belize and Mexico. Some areas saw almost 20 inches of rainfall, causing rivers to swell. According to the BBC, Honduran emergency services have reported that 9 bridges were destroyed by fast-flowing waters and another 19 damaged.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump says he's prepared to declare a national emergency to fulfill his campaign promise of carrying out mass deportations of illegal immigrants living in the country. He made the announcement on Monday in a short post on his Truth Social platform. According to ABC News, the president-elect stands ready to unlock Pentagon resources, including military assets, to carry out his plans. Trump pledged to get started on mass deportations as soon as he enters office. He declared the move will be the largest deportation program in American history. An estimated 11 million to 13 million undocumented residents now reside in the United States.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. 5 fire units are at this hour battling a massive blaze at an Azan Supercenter warehouse in Kingston.
And a probe launched into early morning fire at the Pernal Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston.
The Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is promising a school safety policy by the end of the month.
Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake denies claims the JCF is deliberately stonewalling the use of body-worn cameras.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
Get ready for the lowest prices of the year at the Active Home Center Black Friday sale in Kingston and Montego Bay. Save big on tiles, bathroom fixtures, furniture, lighting, and more just in time for the holidays. Join us now until Saturday, November 30 for unbeatable deals you won't want to miss. Visit our newly relaunched Montego Bay location at Barnett Tech Park at the intersection of Fairfield and Barnett Street, or our upgraded Kingston showroom at 84 Constant Spring Road. Conditions apply. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. National Senior Football Team coach Steve McLaren says he is hoping the boys can continue their recent good away form when they take on the United States in the second leg quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Nations League at the Energizer Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri tonight at 8 o'clock Jamaica time. The national team has done well on the road over the last year, and they count a first-ever victory over Canada on Canadian soil and victories over Honduras and El Salvador among their collection. McLaren says, though he would be without one or two of the key players, he's still looking forward to a good show from the Reggae Boys against the two-time defending champions.
Away from home, we've been in good form recently. This will be a completely different
game altogether. We know that. USA on home soil is a totally different team. Leon knows that better than I do. So we expect another very, very difficult, hard game. But we come here with, optimism, belief. And the first goal in this game is going to be very important, albeit we need two to win. So we know what our goal is. We need to score 2 goals or more and win the game.
That's Steve McLaren, coach of the national senior men's football team. Top defender Ethan Pinnock and striker Michael Antonio will be missing from tonight's game. Pinnock has not recovered from the injury, which ruled him out of the first leg in Kingston last Thursday, while Antonio, who missed the 1-0 defeat due to a card suspension, lost his passport in Africa and didn't make the trip. Young striker Kaheem Dixon also lost his passport. So 2 members of the national team, according to McLaren, have lost their passport between last week, Thursday, and yesterday, I would imagine. So they've not made a trip to the United States. Veteran midfielder Ravel Morrison has been called up for the game, which Jamaica must win to advance, having lost the first leg 1-0. The game is set to kick off, as I mentioned, at 8 o'clock. Dunby Holden and Malines United are 0-0 at sports time in the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Mount Pleasant FC and Chappleton Maroons will meet in the feature game at 7:30 at the same venue. So a game in the Premier League will be televised the same time when the national team is engaged in a real crucial game tonight. The Sunshine Girls are due back in the island in just about 40 minutes from now, After facing England in the first half of the Horizon 4-match series, the Sunshine Girls are trailing 1-0 in the series after losing 55-47 in Game 2 in Manchester on Sunday. The teams will meet again on November 25 and 26 at the National Indoor Sports Centre. The England team is due in the island at the same time. In fact, they are arriving on the same flight as the Jamaica team. The Jamaica Scorpions will play Leeward Islands Hurricanes in semi-final 2 of the regional CG United Super 50 competition. The semi-final pairings were confirmed on Sunday after the Hurricanes beat the combined campuses in the final game of the preliminary round. The Scorpions versus Hurricanes, the semi-final, will be played on Thursday, while the other semi-final will feature defending champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force against the Barbados Pride on Wednesday. This will be the second meeting between the Scorpions and the Hurricanes in a week. The Scorpions won the first encounter by 82 runs last Thursday. World's number 1 tennis player Yannick Sinner capped a superb year on Sunday by lifting his first ever ATP title. The lanky Italian earned a commanding 6-4, 6-4 win over the American Taylor Fritz in the final in Turin. Sinner, the first Italian to win the title, did so without losing a set. The first man since Ivan Lendl in 1986 to do it. It was a 70th victory of 2024 for Sinner, who also won the year's first 2 Grand Slams, the Australian and French Open. West Indies T20 captain Rovman Powell says the recent series against England proved challenging for his players. England won the series a 3-1 after yesterday's 5th and final game at the Darren Sammy Stadium in St. Lucia, and it ended in no result as the game was abandoned after 5 overs due to rain. Openers Evan Lewis 29 and Shea Hope 14 got the West Indies off to a quick start before the thunderstorm set in. The West Indies were 44 without loss at that time. Saqib Mahmood was voted man of the series for his 9 wickets. Powell says despite the series loss, West Indies played good cricket in parts, but it was challenging.
It's been a tough series, I think a lot of credit has to be given to Josh and his team. They really come in our conditions and dominate. But having said that, I think we played good cricket in patches. It's just that we didn't play good cricket for long enough periods.
And Powell says his players didn't adjust quickly enough after the original game plan fell apart.
We always, as a batting group, have a template that we try to work with. Unfortunately, the template didn't work in our first few games. But as a team, we need to assess a little bit faster. It takes us 2 or 3 games to really wonder what's really happening from us as a batting group. And also as a bowling group, we need to sharpen up on a few areas.
And that will do it for sports. We're going to be back, though, at 6:05 with much more.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my 1JN Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the 1JN Passport app is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Have yourself a Color Glow Christmas with Edge campaigns where you could win amazing prizes. Just spend $20,000 or more on Edge Chem products or
buy 1 5-gallon Color Glow plus low sheen paint to enter. You could win a weekend for 2 at a resort among other great prizes.
Shop at participating distributors island-wide to enter.
Visit our socials at Edge Chem Jamaica for full rules and details.
Promotion runs November 15 to December 15, 2024.
It's a Color Glow Christmas with Edge campaigns.
Changing lives 1 gallon at a time. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Girl, guess what? November 19, International Men's Day. Yes, my friend. And Cliffviews Online is broadcasting from the talk of the town at the Jamaica Pegasus on November 19 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Right. But did hear the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport have an International Men's Day observation and celebration under the theme Aspire to Inspire Healthy Men, Healthy Families.
It's CM1. Plus, we expect to hear from many prominent individuals, especially the Minister herself, the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange.
Mega tell my brother, my father, and my uncle to visit the talk of the town, Jamaica Pegasus, November 19.
Well, I'm telling my husband, my grandfather, nephew, and cousin to tune in to Cliffviews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Had a new revolution in media.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
Good afternoon.
Well, in our cover story this afternoon, 5 fire units are still battling a massive blaze that started at Azan Supercenter warehouse on Ashenheim Road in Kingston. The fire reportedly started shortly after 1 this afternoon. And the commanding officer for the St. Andrews South Police, Superintendent Damian Manderson, says the fire has now spread to adjoining properties.
But not much at this time. Around about 1:15 we were alerted to a fire along Ashenheim Road. When we got here, we realized that number 18 Ashenheim Road was engulfed. We, of course, reached out to our partners who are responsible for fires, the fire department. They were quick on the scene. However, the fire, obviously, either the material that was engulfed or just the timing of it, but quickly spread, and of course the gust of wind that was in the air as well, I think aided that process. So several properties as it is now, spanning from 18 Ashenheim all the way out to Marcus Drive, is pretty much engulfed. A number of fire trucks are here working, trying to control, first of all, I believe, the blaze, and we're working with the owners, the Azans, to see what can be salvaged from the fire area, the damaged areas, and also to provide the necessary security and crowd control. So that's really the supportive role of the JCF at this time, just simply to ensure crowd control and to provide necessary security coverage so that no theft or vandalism take place.
That's Superintendent Damian Manderson, the head of the St. Andrews South Police. Of course, any kind of fire at a warehouse such as Azan's at this time of year is going to be a difficult situation. We're about, 6 weeks to go before Christmas. And that's a busy shopping period. So you can expect, listeners, we've been trying to get through to the owners of Azan, but as you can imagine,
this is a major crisis for them. And that warehouse would be now stocked with their Christmas goods.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a very difficult time for them. But what is also troubling, listeners, Ricardo, this is the industrial belt of southwest St. Andrew. And we are now learning that the fire started more than 4 hours ago and still not under control, and it has spread to other properties. That is even more distressing.
Right, aided by wind conditions, and we've been having so much rain over the last few weeks. A shower this afternoon
would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, our news team that's on location, they spoke to a man who said he had to assist a worker from the burning warehouse.
We see some smoke, I run from my come over to Happy Eyes, I mean here youth a ball out, help, murder, help, So we run towards the nice a come and look, we see a youth stuck in the place. So fire burning. So we start kick out, jump on the window jump and we grab it again, start kick out the grill, kick it out. So same time, he might come say, no, man, injure yourself, wait, kick it out some more. Shoot me a knife through the window now and flick him up and haul him out. And they if we never did it, we had a burn him up, a burn the ashes. So we put our next score up to now. No, I'm never afraid of fire.
You never think of your life?
Yeah, I think of my life, but I'm trying to see my next life because you know what danger the fire is about. I time it. I feel it burn me, but we just say, I can't make him go. Because we don't see him already, we just try to help him. We better bulk about, a look about now go kill him.
So you work in the building?
No, I was doing some contract work over my community. And see the smoke and run come over. See that me a youth a ball out.
So the guy that you say, where is he now?
The guy I'm seeing up, I'm take him out, you know, I'm going to see him run come the stretch or something.
And he didn't get any damage?
No, I'm on bun, but him put a blade.
Oh.
So man, so come on from the shirt.
You get any injury?
Yeah, man. Him on bun. And I'm taking him out and drop him, I'm going to him back from that. So he come to check him alright. I'm going to say I'm going to doctor.
A man there who tried to assist a worker who was in that burning warehouse at Azan Supercenter on Ashnaim Road in Kingston. Well, meanwhile, employees could be seen busy trying to save what they could save, yes, out of that warehouse. And you'll see them there.
And just to give our listeners an idea of how massive this fire was, I had a friend who was flying into the island, right? To land at Norman Manley, and sent me a video of a massive plume of smoke. And for some reason, before I realized that there was a fire at the warehouse, I actually thought it was Perennial Child's Arcade. So I told him, oh no, man.
That was this morning?
Yes, that was under control. Only to realize that this fire had started, and it could be seen all the way from in the aircraft.
Yes.
So it is a massive fire, and now that we're hearing from the police, one that is spreading to adjoining properties.
And of course, the Pernell Charles Arcade was on fire again this morning, as we have been reporting, and more vendors are left reeling after losing their goods in an early morning blaze. The fire is said to have started at approximately 7 this morning.
The Jamaica Fire Brigade Divisional Commander for Kingston and St. Andrew, that Senior Superintendent Patrick Gooden, he says over 100 shops, listeners, have been affected, and about 95 vendors have, 95 of them rather, have been completely destroyed.
Yeah, man. So Senior Superintendent Patrick Gooden, Divisional Commander for the Kingston and St. Andrew Division of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. At 7:08 a.m. this morning, we received a call of building on fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade. One unit from Trenchtown eventually responded, and on their arrival here, they discovered that the building is fully engulfed in flames. At that point in time, they called for further assistance, which came from the Tree and the Raleigh Platform Station, as well as the York Rock Fire Station. It took the firefighters approximately 2 hours to bring the fire under control. We discovered that a total of 110 shops were engulfed in flames. Of that amount, 95 were totally destroyed. At this point in time, we are not able to say what is the possible cause of the fire, but our investigators are on location, and as soon as time permits, they will be commencing investigation to determine the possible cause of the fire. All right.
An update there from the fire brigade again, Cliff. Bad news. Vendors 6 weeks to Christmas losing their wares, and the local government minister has pledged that a probe will be launched into that fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade, also indicating that he's already in touch with the leadership of the KSAMC to see what can be done and the way forward for those vendors.
Well, why is it that we keep on having these fires at the Pernell Charles Arcade?
And around the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
$1 million question.
Who is benefiting? Who? Yeah. And what have the investigations over the years revealed as to how these fires are being set?
Yeah, and that's something to check, because I know sometimes you hear that it might be an electrical problem, but I don't know if in the majority of the cases we get any kind of clear indication as to the cause. We simply hear that, financial assistance has been provided
exactly,
to
and
those
some people benefit.
Yeah, and then we move on, and then we sort of do it year in, year out. But
something all right, man.
Yeah, and but to be fair to the minister, he has also said that part of the construction of markets going forward is going to have to take into consideration how to make them fireproof, since this is now
how you can make them fireproof?
A routine thing.
Like you can make markets
certainly in
fireproof.
terms of how fast the fire can spread. Yeah.
But there is a deeper question, set of issues to be resolved. What is the cause?
Who is doing it?
Who is doing it? How
Who
are
benefits?
they doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. Our reporter, Kalisa Wright, is at the location on Ashenheim Road where the Azan Supercenter warehouse and adjoining properties, we're now being told, are still on fire.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs. From luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
Unique Living's new arrivals are here. Revamp your space with sleek, fixed and sliding show panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Visit them today and transform your space at shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit their website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
13 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. We're focused this afternoon on a massive fire at Ashenheim Road. The Azan Supercenter has been on fire since about 1:15 this afternoon. That is, 4.5 hours ago. And we're learning that the firefighters are fighting the blaze that is threatening or has engulfed other properties nearby. Our reporter Kalisa Wright is at the location, and we also have joining us the town clerk of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Robert Hill. Good afternoon, Kalisa. Good afternoon, Mr. Town Clerk.
Good afternoon, Cliff.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Kalisa, tell us what's happening where you are now.
All right, so I'm currently at location at the Azan Supercenter warehouse on Ashenheim Road, and it's a devastating sight here. The area is literally covered in smoke. We saw at least 5 units coming to attempt to get the fire under control, but it only got worse. Currently, there are about 3 units on the location at this time. I think 2 of them left to get additional water to come back and to continue fighting the blaze. Mm-hmm. Persons have to be getting out their masks. We were at the entrance of the property and we were told by police personnel and fire brigade personnel to move away from the area because it's just getting worse here at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And Colicia, we heard from the police that the fire was starting to spread to adjoining properties. Are you seeing that?
Yes, we're seeing that, and we were trying to get to those buildings or to those areas. However, we were told by the police that we can't pass from where we're at now. So we're not sure how many buildings are affected at this moment.
And is it a situation where they're close by, or is it that the wind is blowing embers in their direction?
Well, I think it's both.
Okay.
So it's close by, and the wind is also a factor.
Yeah. And we're being joined by Commissioner of the Fire Brigade, Commissioner Stuart Beckford. Commissioner Beckford, thanks so much for joining us. We know it's a difficult time for you and your colleagues fighting this blaze, but give us a status report. Where are we now in terms of fighting the blaze and containing it?
Okay, good afternoon, Chief. And
Good afternoon, sir.
So I am speaking to you from 218 Marcus Garden Drive. I'm in the Pure National Ice compound. So where we are now, we have contained this blaze. It's under control, but not yet extinguished. And if I may go back a bit to the initial call made to us with this fire. So we got this call at about 1:26 p.m. We were still doing mopping up operations at the furniture arcade when this call came in. So we had to quickly redeploy some of our resources to this location. When we got here, we saw 2 buildings on fire. One was fully engulfed, and that is a warehouse, which I'm told belonged to a popular business establishment in the corporate area where they store merchandise.
Azan Supercenter, it has been established.
Right. So that facility has been significantly damaged. Pure National Ice, a part of their establishment, would have also suffered significant damage. There's still active firefighting taking place as we speak. Currently, we have 6 fire units on location and approximately 65 firefighters. We are comfortable with where we are in terms of the level of burning that is taking place here. We believe there is no threat of it spreading to adjoining exposure, such as adjoining buildings. And we have an adequate amount of water now, and I say now because in the initial stages we had difficulty with low water pressure because having contacted NWC and alerted them to the fact that this fire was taking place and that we need, for the pressure in that location to be boosted. Regrettably, they were not able to do that at the time because the Spanish Town water system, I'm told, Spanish Town Road, there was an electrical malfunction at their plant, or their facility, so they were not able to do that. But they subsequently rerouted water from another supply, and as we speak, we have a significant increase in the pressure in the hydrant. So no longer do we need to leave the scene to go replenish to come back, because that's one of the disadvantages when you have to leave to replenish, and it is that you tend to lose ground.
Yes.
A fire that is burning and burning freely will double in size every 10 minutes.
Go ahead, complete it.
Right, and for us to leave and to come back, it means that we are basically losing ground with that fire. And that would have...
How many of those trips did you have to take?
I don't have the total in terms of the number of trips because we are still on location and we are still doing the tallying of the data and so on. But I would imagine that it would have been quite a few of those trips. But the good thing, though, is that we had, a number of units on location. But we would have rather to have a steady supply coming through the hydrant, going into the units, or sometimes we use direct connection from the hydrant to fight the fire as well, because sometimes the pressure coming from that is very significant. And in situations like these where you have these massive fire, the higher the pressure and the stronger the volume that we are putting out in terms of water, the quicker we can knock it down and bring it under control. And
all your hydrants in the area were in good working condition when you got there. It was just a matter of the pressure.
Yes, all the hydrants were in good working condition. Just a matter of the pressure, but as I said, that pressure has been boosted, and we are happy for that. Because no longer do we need to leave the scene to go replenish and come back.
Commissioner Beckford, Azan Supercenter warehouse, mainly dry goods would have been stored there. What would be where you are now at the National Pure Ice, you said? What would be the materials?
So then they make ice. So what would have been damaged for them is, like the electrical systems and so on, and some of their machinery. And of course that will impact their operations going forward. I was speaking to one of the owners here, a part owner of the company, and he was saying that based on his assessment, they may be not be able to produce ice for some time to come. I can't speak definitively, because I'm not gone into the building itself to make an assessment because there's still active firefighting taking place there. But I guess, as the hours unfold, we will get better details as to exactly the extent of the damage and the cause of this fire, because that we are not sure. But based on information received, it would appear it started in the warehouse.
Mm-hmm. And Commissioner, you've had an active day. Obviously, this morning early, you were at the Pernell Charles Arcade. That matter has been mopped up completely now?
Completely. So within 10 minutes of receiving this call, we were able to close down operation at Pernell and reroute all resources that were at Pernell to this location. And so Pernell, for all intent and purpose, has been completely extinguished. Our fire investigators are now conducting investigation to make a determination as to exactly what would have caused that fire as well.
Has it been completely destroyed or what? Partially what? That's
Significantly, and I say significantly because there were 100 and I think 19 stars, if my memory serves me right.
110, Commissioner.
Right, and I'm told that a significant number of those would have been damaged. The thing about that fire is that it was confined to a particular area, so it's not the entire arcade that was affected.
Mm-hmm.
It was a section of the arcade, and so those persons who are in those areas that were not affected should be able to continue to trade and to carry on business and so on. But the areas that have been affected, they may not be able to quickly do that.
Commissioner Beckford, the question on everyone's lips this morning when we heard the news of a fire at Pernell Charles Arcade again. What has been causing these fires at Pernell Charles? Are they deliberately set based on your investigations? What?
Well, in the past, our investigation would have revealed in some instances, and I can't speak for all the fires that would have occurred there, but what I do know is that a commonality among these are in relation to market fires is there's always an issue with electrical short circuit. So either the system or the electrical system there is not properly done, meaning to specification or to standard, or if it is done, persons overload the circuit because it's an arcade. People they plug in a multiplicity of appliances and so on. And once you have an overload, then there is the possibility of a short circuit occurring. We also have the situation where persons may forget to turn off a fan when they are leaving to go home.
Mm-hmm.
That fan maybe they're running all night and it becomes hot, and then that can also trigger a fire. So for this morning, there is the suspicion that it may have been an electrical short circuit, but I can't say definitively that was so. But based on preliminary investigation, it is trending into that direction. But we will allow the investigators to do their work and to determine origin and cause, and then I'll make a definitive pronouncement on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Mr. Town Clerk, are these markets routinely observed to ensure that vendors are complying with things like the amount of sockets that are being plugged in, or the carrying load is being complied with, or are they just left up to their own devices?
No. We try our best. We try our best, Ricardo, at all times to ensure that these things are complied with, and where they are not, we take enforcement actions. However, we can't always police them as we'd like to, based on the capacity that we have. But most of the times, I'll tell you that we do have challenges in these areas where there are issues related to diversion of electricity or some other issues that may occur that are not in compliance with the license.
When you say diversion, them teeth in the light.
Exactly.
I will stick to the term diversion of electricity.
No, but just for the benefit of my listeners, what does that mean?
Yeah. You define that for
the benefit of our listeners. What does that mean? Diversion of electricity.
I wouldn't disagree with your characterization of teeth in light. That is a reality that we continue to be challenged with right across not only Kingston and St. Andrew, but I can certainly say across other locations across the country.
And in relation to this specific instance, you're talking in the markets.
In this specific instance, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So the way forward now, we know that you've had initial conversation with the Minister of Local Government as to what kind of probe needs to happen and the support to the vendors. What's the way forward?
Well, what we are doing now, we are awaiting the fire investigation reports, Mayor Swaby will be hosting a meeting with the market management as well as the vendors that have been affected no later than tomorrow into Wednesday of this week. I want to reiterate the fact that we ensure our structures and not contents, right? So we provide a market structure, a market building, or arcade building for persons to operate their businesses from. We really do empathize because we were on scene this morning with the fire brigade personnel and the police, and we understand the plight that the vendors have now been faced with. But unfortunately, we do not have a policy position as it relates to the insurance of contents of goods for persons who are conducting their business.
How many fires have we had at Pernell Charles Arcade over the last 10 years, Mr. Hill?
I am not too certain. I don't believe it's been more than about 3 or 4 occurrences over the past 10 years.
And the other arcades?
We have not had impact on the arcades. We have had fires in markets, in the market district downtown, and so on. But again, it is a challenge that we continue to monitor, continue to grapple with, continue to seek compliance with, continue to seek cooperation of our vendors in how we conduct ourselves as providers of structures for them and how they conduct business and ply their business in these areas.
Town Clerk Hill, Commissioner Beckford,
thank you,
and our own Khaleesi Wright. Thank you so much.
Before you go, as well. Good. Before you go, Khaleesi, anything to add since we last spoke with you?
No, nothing to add as yet. We're going to try to speak to someone in management before we leave.
Yes.
So hopefully we can get in that interview before we leave.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good,
Bye.
good.
The
Khaleesi
headlines
Wright
are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Fire units are at this time still battling a massive blaze that started at an Azan Supercenter warehouse on Ashenheim Road in Kingston. The fire reportedly started about 1:15 this afternoon. Commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police, Superintendent Damian Manderson, says the fire has spread to adjoining properties.
Fire, obviously, either the material that was engulfed or just the timing of it, but quickly spread, and of course the gust of wind that was in the air as well, I think aided that process. So several properties as it is now, spanning from 18 National and all the way to Manzana Drive, is pretty much engulfed. A number of fire trucks are here working, trying to control, first of all, I believe, the blaze. And we're working with the owners, the Azans, to see what can be salvaged from the fire area, the damaged areas, and also to provide necessary security.
Superintendent Damian Manderson, commanding officer for the St. Andrew South Police Division. Meanwhile, local government minister Desmond McKenzie says a probe is underway to determine the circumstances that led to a fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston on Monday morning. In a release to the media, Minister McKenzie says the blaze destroyed 95 stalls, affecting the livelihoods of 54 vendors. Noting that the incident occurred less than 6 weeks away from Christmas, Minister McKenzie says he has already spoken with the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby. He says once the investigation is complete, the vendors will be consulted about the way forward as they seek to recover from the incident. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says a comprehensive school safety policy is expected to be finalized by the end of November. It's aimed at curbing the alarming violence affecting educational institutions. Her comment follows 2 deadly attacks at 2 separate schools last week. Last Friday, tragedy struck Homewood Technical High School in Manchester when 47-year-old school bus driver Rohan Gentles, also known as Scrooge, was brutally killed on the school grounds. The incident occurred around 8 a.m. shortly after the start of classes. Reports indicate that Mr. Gentles was preparing to transport the school's football team to a match when he was attacked. Just hours later, in St. Andrew, a man believed to be a parent was fatally shot outside the gates of Rosso Primary School. The attack happened between 8:30 and 9 a.m. This marked the second fatal incident at Rosso Primary in less than a month. On October 15, another parent was killed on the school premises, reportedly in full view of students. Speaking at Homewood Technical on Monday, the Education Minister emphasized that there is an urgent need for robust protocols to ensure school safety.
We see some smoke and run from my come over to APIs and we near youth and ball help, murder, help, run to us by the nice and come and look, we say youth stuck in the place, say fire burning, so we start kick out, jump on the window jump and grab it again.
There's a school safety policy that's been worked on between the Ministry of Education and also the Ministry of National Security. That's been in the works, and I don't like that word "in the works" because too often in Jamaica things are in the works forever. But we have said that this needs to be completed at the end of the month. UNICEF is assisting the government in finalizing it, and we expect at the end of November that review to be done because we have to prioritize safety in schools. And our government is going to do whatever we have to do to make it clear to criminals that schools are not fair game. We're not supposed to be seeing these kinds of incidents in our schools.
The upcoming policy is expected to address safety concerns with measures to enhance security and protect students and staff. Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says violence should not be tolerated, especially in the vicinity of schools.
So this is a problem that is not unique to Homewood, but it is something that as a country we cannot allow to continue without strong action. And so I give you my assurance here that I am going to ensure that the school safety policy is finalized and that we are working with the Ministry of National Security to ensure that we have as robust protocols as possible at all of our schools across Jamaica.
Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, Minister of Education. They have no plan. That's Prime Minister Andrew Holness and the JLP That's Prime Minister and JLP leader Andrew Holness's opinion on the People's National Party PNP's bid to win both constituencies in Portland. He was addressing party supporters at a JLP meeting in the parish on Sunday. Andrew Holness told jubilant JLP supporters at the joint East and West Portland Constituency Conference that the PNP is more concerned about telling lies about his administration instead of presenting proper plans for Portland.
They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to be better off. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create wealth for you. They don't tell you that. All they come and do is talk about me and tell lie upon me and tell all kind of lie. But they have no plan.
According to Mr. Holness, he has a clear vision for the country, unlike the PNP.
The reason why they have no plan is because they don't care What they care about is power, and they will take the easiest way to power, which is to play upon your grievances in the same way that they are playing upon the grievances in the tourism industry to create disruption, which could potentially destroy the goose that is laying the egg for all a week to survive. And that is why when I take the platform, I make sure I tell you how I'm going to treat with the grievances you have. I tell you what the future is going to look like for you. And I tell you what I am doing now so that you can actually make it to the future.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
With Jamaica Automobile Association, membership is a win-win. Enter the JAA Fuel Up promotion and you could win the grand prize of JAA Gold membership for 1 year, plus fuel valued at $240,000. Just purchase, renew or upgrade your JAA membership or use your individual JAA advance card to buy at least $10,000 of fuel a month. So, fuel up! There's also monthly prizes of $20,000 in fuel. Enter now. JAA Fuel Up promotion ends December 13, 2024. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Are you ready for real rewards this Christmas? Reel in big cash prizes and big appliances with Rainforest Real Rewards. On now at supermarkets island-wide. Enter to win cash prize of $500,000 or a stove or fridge. Any 2 Rainforest products, including shrimp, and enter online or WhatsApp between November 1 and December 15. Each receipt is an entry. Enter as many times as you want. This Christmas, win real rewards. Only with Rainforest. Authorized by the BGLC. Terms and conditions apply. Girl, guess what? November 19, International Men's Day. Yes, my friend. And Cliff Hughes Online is broadcasting from the talk of the town at the Jamaica Pegasus on November 19 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Right. We did hear the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport have an International Men's Day observation and celebration under the theme Aspire to Inspire Healthy Men, Healthy Families.
It's CM1. Plus, we expect to hear from many prominent individuals, especially the Minister herself, the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange.
Mega tell my brother, my father, and my uncle to visit the talk of the town, Jamaica Pegasus, November 19th.
Well, I'm telling my husband, my grandfather, nephew, and cousin to tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM had a new revolution in media.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Mullines United, they're leading Dunbeholden by 2-0. 55 minutes gone in the game at the Jerusalem Mini Stadium, just off the boulevard. And this, of course, in a matchday 10 game in the Wray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League. So, Mullines United leading Dunbeholden by 2-0. And coming up a little later on at 7:30 will be the game between Mount Pleasant FC and Chapelton Maroon at 7:30. So Mullines leading by 2-0. There are 56 minutes in the game at Jerusalem. Now, the national senior football team just left, well, not just, about 10 minutes ago, they left their hotel in St. Louis, Missouri, and they're heading now to the Energizer City Stadium to take on the United States tonight at 8 o'clock Jamaica time in the second leg quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Nations League. The national team has done well on the road over the last year, and they can count a first ever victory over Canada and victories over Honduras and El Salvador among their collection. McLaren says though he will be without one or two key players, he's still looking forward to a good show from the Reggae Boys against the two-time defending champion.
Away from home, we've been in good form recently. This will be a completely different game altogether. We know that. USA on home soil is a totally different team. Leon knows that better than I do. So we expect another very, very difficult, hard game. But we come here with, optimism, belief. And the first goal in this game is going to be very important, albeit we need to win. So we know what our goal is. We need to score 2 goals or more and win the game.
That's Steve McLaren, coach of the Jamaica national senior men's football team. Top defender Ethan Pinnock and striker Michael Antonio. They are missing the game tonight like they did in Kingston last week, Thursday. Pinnock has not recovered from the injury that ruled him out of that game. Michael Antonio, he missed the defeat in Kingston because of a card suspension. Now he's missing the game in the States because he has lost his passport. He was in Africa and he lost it. Young striker Kaheem Dixon has also lost his passport and didn't make it into the United States. Veteran midfielder Ravel Morrison has been called up for the game, which Jamaica must win because they lost that game in Kingston. And as I mentioned, the game is at 8 o'clock tonight, Jamaica time. The national senior netball team members are just touching down in Kingston. They're coming from Manchester, England, after playing England in 2 games in the 4-match series of the Horizon tournament. The Sunshine Girls, they are trailing 1-0 in the series. The teams are meeting again on November 25 and 26 at the National Indoor Sports Centre in the final 2 games of the series. The English team also came in tonight with the Jamaicans. Now, the Jamaica Scorpions will play Leeward Islands Hurricanes in semi-final 2 of the regional CG United Super 50 competition. The semi-final pairings were confirmed on Sunday after the Hurricanes beat the combined campuses in the final game of the preliminary round. The Scorpions versus Hurricanes semi-final will be on Thursday, while the other semi-final will feature defending champions Trinidad and Tobago Red Force against Barbados Pride on Wednesday. The meeting between the Scorpions and the Hurricanes will be the second between the teams in a week. The Scorpions won the first encounter by 82 runs a couple of days ago. And news now on basketball. To close the sportscast, the Cleveland Cavaliers became only the 4th team in NBA history to win the first 15 games of a regular season. They beat Charlotte Hornets 128-114 on Sunday. Darius Garland scored 25 points and Ty Jerome 24 at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Evan Mobley finished with 23 points and 11 boards, and Jarrett Allen 21 points and 15 boards for the Cavs, while LaMelo Ball scored 31 points for Charlotte. The Washington Capitals and the Houston Rockets won their opening 15 games in 1949 and 1994 respectively. But the Golden State Warriors, they went further. They won their first 24 games in that massive 2016 campaign. They won 73 games in all. 03 reached the NBA Finals, although the Rockets were the only one to go on to win the championship. The Cavaliers, who are top of the Eastern Conference, they're in action again tomorrow night, and they'll be visiting the defending champions Boston Celtics at the Garden. In other games, the New York Knicks, they beat the Brooklyn Nets 114-104. Dallas topped Oklahoma 121-119. Houston, they turned back Chicago 143-107. Detroit beat Washington 124-104. And the LA Clippers tagged Utah 116-105. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
So where you get?
The new Popeye's blackened chicken sandwich, my girl. The flavor just hits different.
Blackened like it burn up?
Nah, man. Blackened because of the color of the Louisiana herbs and spices. Blackened like the flavor buck. No breading and the seasoning soaked deep in the chicken. But get yours and try it, cause me nah share here. Get the new Popeye's blackened chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
You good, Mark? No, you know, from what day me I have these terrible heartburns. I don't know why. What kind of food you eating? To tell you the truth, you know, I mostly eat fast food. I live alone and I'm too busy for cook my youth.
That's your problem. You're eating too much processed food and building up trans fat.
Trans fat? What that?
Trans fat is a type of fat in a processed foods like fried chicken, fries, donuts, and them things there.
So how that cause heartburn?
So eating trans fat can cause acid reflux. So if you don't stop eat it or cut back on the amount you eat, things can get worse.
Like what?
You can get heart attacks, stroke, type 2 diabetes, or even die.
But fats and oils not important for eat, my youth.
Yes, but the healthy kind in a vegetable aisle, nuts and fish.
Okay, no, I'm gonna switch up my diet starting today.
Just remember to balance it out with your fresh fruits, vegetables, and ground provision.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Here at Aslan Supercenter, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's 5 weeks till Christmas, and Aslan Supercenter has everything you need to start your shopping now. Choose from our wide selection of decorations, lights, and Christmas trees. Now's the time to pick up all your holiday needs before the rush. And stop by this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our 3-day pre-Christmas sale.
So this Christmas, make it Aslan Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
There is no way you can predict who a person will be tomorrow, and having a partner today might mean a lot of give and take. But are you prepared to know that the longer you're together, the easier it is to slip? Are you prepared to forgive cheating or even expect it to happen? If it does and you've been together a few years, do you keep starting a new relationship every few years, or do you learn to live with a possible reality? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if you want a partner who's perfect, who you plan to spend your life with?
Mr. Perfect. Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, Super Happy, Super Healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special good evening to our YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us. We ask you to comment in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. And also, we welcome to those of you who are listening in Radio Land. Yes? Let's get to it. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he has had direct talks with members of Parliament about the things they can do better with the administration now in its 5th year in office. Now, he made the comment while speaking at a JLP meeting held last Saturday at Newell High School in St. Elizabeth.
The Jamaica Labour Party has put in place a program where we have started to call in all our MPs that we have assessed, and we have said to them, you need to perform better in this area, you are doing good in this area, but here is where we think you need to come up with some new ideas. Because in any organization, after any period of time of holding authority, sometimes people become complacent. We have done too much. We have achieved so many things that previous administrations have never even dreamt of being able to do. for us to become careless with our politics.
Indeed, we believe that in any career it's always good, or any job it's always good to improve. You know, there's always room for improvement. Do not get complacent. So we thought it best in public opinion to ask this evening. We're asking you, the constituents, yeah? On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest rate, the highest rather, we're asking you to rate your MP, the work of your MP. So let's go again. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, rate the work of your member of parliament. Now, if you don't want to give it a name of your member of parliament, or you know, for transparency, sure. Rate out of 5, 5 being the highest. So we're going to go and start on our X platform real quick. Graham Jervis is saying Favour Williams 4. She's not doing too badly. I just hope my road is on the list for fixing when the rainy season eases up. All right. Gaslighter is saying 1. I tuned into Parliament almost every week for the past 9 months, and I've only ever seen her there twice. She's not present in the constituency, and she's not at Parliament. So where is she then? And he did not give me a name right there. Patrick is asking, why is it always about the MP and minister? What about the people them in the ministries who getting paid to do the work? Well, we're asking about the MPs at this point in time, Patrick. The patriotic one is saying it's a 1 for me, and that would have been Southeast St. Andrew. Yeah. Tishana Taylor is saying Floyd Green, and she's giving Floyd Green a 5 out of 5. Remember, 5 is the highest rating that you can give. Yvette Garvey is saying 2. Grace Davidson saying Julian Robinson is my MP. He gets a 5. He's a good MP and a good man. That's 5 out of 5 for Julian Robinson coming from Grace Davidson. Let me see if I can get in some more. Wow. Somebody here, just me living, saying -10. Wow, that's not even on the scale. And she's saying Western St. Thomas. Yeah? Don O'Mealy says -5. West Rural St. Andrew, MP MIA. Wow. Wow. Yeah? Chantel 21 is saying Crystal is a good MP. Yeah? Susan Hay says 000. Fitz Jackson is a very lazy MP. Wow. Tije says 0. He said that he doesn't have to do anything to get people in my community to vote for him. He just only has to give them 5. Wow, TJ. Wow. All right, okay. Delano Bailey is saying MPs are useless 85% of the time. Wow. All right, let's see if I can get in some more. I stand with Andrew saying Ensom City, and he's giving Babsy Grange 5. Derek McLennan says on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 the highest. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get in the comments on Facebook real quick, where Philip Jackson, I see your comment, scrolling to it, is saying that he's living in the U.S., but his constituency is managed by Mrs. Holness, and he's saying she's always doing a great job taking into consideration those hilly terrains and moving soils. He would give her a 4. All right, Douglas Rogers says Tova Hamilton North Trelawney, a solid 100. 5 to a little bit. 1 Tova, not 2. Cleveland Richards saying my MP is Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn. I give her a big 5. CJ says Central St. Mary, Dr. Maurice Guy, 2, and I'm being generous. All right. Shins for Life Law says I have all 3 MPs, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, and she's giving Juliet Cuthbert Flynn a 4. Carl Samuda 3. She says my home is in the middle of both constituency. So which constituency do you vote in? And then she is saying PM is MP for my original community, and she's giving the PM a 5. Wow, that's a whole lot of constituency, Shins for Life Law. Christopher Isaac saying Central Manchester's Rhodamoy Crawford a 4, and that's because I think she hasn't done enough for the youth program. That's according to Christopher Isaacs, coming in with the question, On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, we're asking you to rate the work of your MP. Let me see if I can get in Instagram. Yeah? Rhoda, a solid 4.5, no questions. That's coming from Sharika Allison. Robert Gregory saying 5. She's doing a good job in Central St. Catherine. McFarlane Christian is saying my MP, Miss Rhoda, a big solid 5. Champion Pat is saying Northeast Manchester MP, giving the MP a 1. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in some more. Northeast St. Anne. Here is the newcomer, Matthew Samuda. And she's giving Matthew a 10, not 5. All right. Let me see. Nathani is giving Southwest St. Andrew MP. That's Dr. Angela Brown-Burke 2. He's saying that she needs to be more active and address the social ills in her constituency. Another 5 coming in for Rhoda Moy Crawford, also 5. Again, let me see if I can get in some more. Nicole Whitaker says, in East Rural St. Andrew, the Kintyre Division, I give her 0. Don't know about the rest of the division in the constituency, but the Kintyre Division, I give her a 0. And the road, shake my head. I believe you're talking about Mrs. Holness there in the East Rural St. Andrew. Let me see if I can get in some more. Tears Drop says 0 for Gregory Park, Portmore. Okay, and 0 for Dave Brown, coming from King James. Let me see. One Empress said 1 because I just know him name. All right, on YouTube, let me see if I can get through some of the comments there. To the question, on a scale of 1 to 5, we're asking you to rate the work of your MP, 5 being the highest. Killian Henry says, Floyd Green, youngest veteran out of Southwest St. Elizabeth. Baba Green himself, man, 10 out of 10. S. Marshall says, giving my MP Darrell a 5. Yeah. Angie Favorable, no doubt, PM, MP, 5 out of 5. I saw him transform a whole area with 2 to 3 bedrooms. Let me see if I can get some more. Alex Smith says, Northeast St. Anne, 3 for Matthew Samuda. You need to show your face in place like Chalky Hill, Porter Street, and Davis Town. People there not happy. Coming from a shower man. All right. Yeah. Who done it says, Wami, a 5 or a 10. Aisha Morgan says, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, a 4. Andrea Calm is saying Mr. Davis St. James, 4.5. James Robinson from Dory, he gets a 5. Montague gets a 5 from Herman. Let me see if I can get a few more. William says, Lisa Hanna is my MP. I give her a 5. Andrew Wheatley coming from Geneva, giving him a 4. Loxley Miller says 000. Philip Henriquez. Yeah? All right. Let me see if I can get in some more. SH says, well, I think it's about time, seeing as he want. Okay, you're referring to another question. Let me see if I can get in some more. 0 for Mr. Phillips, Northwest Manchester. Michelle Gray here says Fitz Jackson 1. Let me see if I can get in some more. Eddie Pedro is asking how much J.C. Hutchinson get. We don't hear nothing about him as yet. Floyd Green, 10 out of 10. Matthew Samuda, 5. I'm just going along the lines of where I'm seeing. Edgewater, 10. Dave Brown, Eastern Hanover, 5. Okay. Cessa Natalie Kelly is giving a 0. Errol Williams is saying Anne-Marie Vaz, 4. All right, let me see if I can get in a few more. I'm getting the wrap-up signal. Angela Jones says Edmund Bartlett, 4. Yeah. Let me see if I can get a few more in. Joseph Powell says PM Holness, 5. Jam Gran is saying Witter. He's giving Witter a 2. Wallace says 4 for J.C. Hutchinson until he fixed the road from retirement to a compound. Wow. And Glaister Hall says Mr. Henriquez is MP for Northwest Clarendon. I give him -0. Seems he's living overseas. Yeah? Varying views, and we like them, we welcome them. You are the ones who are voting for these people, and you're entitled for your voice to be heard. I think so. Thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. That's all the time we have. Do stay tuned. Up next, the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Online gaming platform Roblox has announced it will block children under 13 from messaging others as part of new efforts to safeguard children. Child users will not be able to send direct messages within games by default unless a verified parent or guardian gives them permission. Parents will also be able to view and manage their child's account, including seeing their list of online friends and setting daily limits on their playtime. Roblox is the most popular gaming platform for 8 to 12-year-olds in the UK. That's according to Ofcom research. But it has been urged to make its experiences safer for children. The company said it would begin rolling out the changes from Monday, and they will be fully implemented by the end of March 2025. It means young children will still be able to access public conversations seen by everyone in games. So they can still talk to their friends, but they cannot have private conversations without parental consent. In other news, U.S. budget carrier Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy protection after a long run of financial losses and a series of failed merger attempts. According to the BBC, the Florida-based airline said it had arranged an agreement to restructure its debt and raise money during a bankruptcy process that is expected to last until early 2025. During that time, Spirit says its operations will continue as normal and passengers will not. During that time, Spirit says its operations will continue as normal and passengers will be unaffected. So according to the BBC, Spirit, which has not recorded a full year profit since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, is the first U.S. airline to file for bankruptcy in more than a decade. American Airlines declared bankruptcy in 2011 to cut labor costs during a period of high fuel prices. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 159 Jamaican dollars and 26 cents to buy $1 US, 200 Jamaican dollars and 79 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 21 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning offers high-quality detail cleaning and home improvement services. They cater to residential and commercial properties. They clean from the ceiling to the floor. They clean sofas, mattresses, carpets, and chairs. They deep clean and restore all floors. They repair and restore roofing. They do tiling, general paintings, drywall works, and other carpentry services to include property renovation. Call them 876-384-9313. Follow them at New World Detail Cleaning and Home Improvement.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
KFC pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious, finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Delicious, juicy, irresistible. Now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC popcorn chicken.
It's time for a new look.
And high time to get serious about protecting our home and investment.
It's time to choose BH Paints with over 60 years experience in quality paint finishes. Their products are superior and long-lasting.
Time to check them out.
Ask about BH Paint's 100% acrylic Ultima Plus paint and primer in one. Experience rich colors with advanced UV and mildew-resistant technologies, independently tested by experts. What are you waiting for? Visit a BH Paints Color Center today.
It's the West Kingston Constituency Conference at Tivoli Gardens High. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, November 21 for this broadcast. See you at Tivoli Gardens and hear from party leader, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Winston Ennis, Fable Williams, Everald Warmington, Matthew Samuda, and others. Plus, stay tuned to hear from Desmond Mackenzie. So don't miss Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, November 21 from 6 to 9 p.m. It's the West Kingston Constituency Conference. Catch Nationwide at 5 or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the West Kingston Constituency Office.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Looking to rent a fully operational production studio? Then Nationwide 90 FM has got you covered. We have flexible options to meet your recording needs any day of the week. Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays available upon request. Bookings must be made in advance. Call us today at 630-1210. Let us help you reach your production desires.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here and staying with us if you've been with us since 5:30. On Nationwide at 5, it's time for the Nation's Business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we're
going to go to a voice clip we got from the manager of the Azan Supercenter warehouse where that massive fire took place earlier today. Our reporter, Kalisa Wright, was able to get an interview with him, and he gave Kalisa an eyewitness account of what happened at the start of the fire. He is the manager, as I said, of the Azan Supercenter warehouse. His name is Oswald Duhaney. He said when the fire started this afternoon, they tried to put it out using a fire extinguisher, but it was of no use.
about 1:15. That was supposed to be our lunchtime. One of the guys come up from in the warehouse and said, fire, 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 fire. I grabbed one of the extinguisher that we had the front and go down there. When I reached down there, the fire was in the air on one of the top shelves. The extinguisher couldn't help us, so I turned back, tried to get in touch with the fire brigade, but we couldn't get through to them. I called the boss and tried to clear the building from the staff because everybody didn't came out for lunch yet. One of the guys, unfortunately, got chopped down there. They had us to dig off one of the window from the side to get him out. And everything just boom from there. Happened so fast. I don't know, I can't believe what really happened.
And earlier we spoke to a gentleman who said that he helped to rescue someone.
Yeah, the guy that was in the building, they had us dig off the window down at the side because the fire was going down and he was in the bathroom at the time of the fire.
Oswald Duhaney, the manager of Azan Supercenter Warehouse, which was on fire this afternoon at Ashenheim Road.
And in the nation's business, this evening we're continuing our conversation about the state of the nation's roads. Now, state agencies with responsibility for road infrastructure should bear more of the blame for failing thoroughfares than having it pinned on contractors. Mm-hmm. That's according to the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, the IMAJ. Its president, Richard Mullings, says contractors build according to the specifications delivered by the agencies and their engineers.
We need to ask where the roads are not keeping up. The people tend to knee-jerk default to the contractors who construct them. I want to hear, and the media and the public need to ask for where there are failures, where they're not keeping up. What does the road authority and what do the engineers who have designed these roads and the engineers who supervise the construction of these roads? And we need to hear from them. The master builders and contractors in general just construct to the design that they're given, and they're supervised by the agencies and the consulting engineers, supervising engineers. We need to hear them speak on what is going on with the roads and what is required.
Richard Mullings there, president of the IMAJ. Now, of course, road surfaces across the country, they've come under scrutiny in recent weeks following the persistent heavy rain that's caused damage in several areas. Mr. Mullings says road authorities should take the impact of climate change into consideration when designing roads and drains. Mr. Mullings joins us now. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I hope you can hear me.
Hearing you clearly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Right.
And we should tell our listeners that we did invite the CEO of the National Works Agency, E.J. Hunter, one of the principal directing agencies involved in the road construction business. Mr. Hunter directed us to his communication and customer services manager, Stephen Shaw. When we contacted Mr. Shaw, he told us that he would have to have a conversation with Mr. Hunter before speaking to us. And what should we say, Ricardo? Mr. Hunter hardly ever speaks to the media.
Yes.
Or speak to the public, and yet he presides over a multi-billion-dollar budget, a vexed issue of road construction, and there are growing concerns that we're not getting value for money, and questions being asked of the National Works Agency in terms of its invigilation of roadworks, whether it is really doing its job. And it's not good enough for Mr. Hunter to continue to hide from the public. And I deliberately say hide because he has been given a lot of opportunities to speak to the public as to what is happening when we hear this contract is awarded to this contractor and we get a shower of rain and the road gone. Yeah?
And that's where I want to pick up with Richard Mullings, president of the IMAJ, because you're saying, Mr. Mullings, that the authorities should take into account the impact of climate change when designing roads and drains. I thought they were already doing that.
I would hope so. We have credible and qualified professional engineers in this island, and I am of the opinion that it's quite within their capacity to make the allowances, make the proper design recommendations for the environment that we face.
And they do that, you're saying?
I'm saying they have the ability to do that. But what I think I really want to...
No. Hold on. But you're not saying that they're doing that.
Right.
I am saying, I'm a registered professional engineer. And I am saying in engineering, there's allowance for scientific analysis, for us to review where things have gone wrong, who's reviewing where the specifications are not keeping up, who is doing the studies on what was designed in the past and what we should be designing for in the future. I'm just saying these are the things that are way out of the remit of the contractor, and they come into the world of the design engineer and the authority that hires the design engineer.
And who would that be in our case here in Jamaica at this moment?
That would be obviously the appropriate government agency with responsibility for roads, which, as far as we know, is the National Works Agency, and I guess, to another extent, the road operating construction company.
Let me put a scenario to you. So you say specifications are delivered and the contractors build according to those. So what you're saying to our listeners is that they map out the area, they tell you the amount of material to be used, what kind of material, the measurements, etc., and you follow through. Is there ever an instance where you push back to say, we don't think this is sufficient for the area or the way the land is set up or the amount of rainfall expected? Does that pushback ever happen, or you just go ahead and design?
Of course. I mean, I think in construction is really a teamwork exercise, and you'd find most experienced contractors, whether by experience over a long term working in the industry or those with maybe a higher level of education, will have some amount of feedback to give the client. And we usually are looking out for the interests of our client to say, guys, this thing here maybe, from our experience or from our knowledge, we don't like this, or we suggest another course of action. But the nature of our contract is that we are really obliged to do whatever we are told to do.
And you're saying in some of these instances, what you're being told to do is not up to the level or the quality that you would prefer it be, or rather it be.
So that may be my opinion. It is my opinion as a contractor or as a representative of contractors that yes, sometimes there are elements that do not keep up with what's going on. Remember, when you come to build a road, as we speak, the specification, the thickness of the sub-base and the base, and Jamaicans, the marl that goes on the road, the thickness of the asphalt, the barber green that goes on top of that road. It's given to us in a drawing and in a specification, and we are told to build to it. The specification for that marl, meaning the grade, trying to simplify the gradation, how fine it is or how coarse it is, that comes to us as a specification, and we have to meet it and build to it. And there would obviously be further questions, such as, are the contractors meeting the specification? And I remind you that they're supervisors. The government pays, it's not for free, the government pays suitably qualified persons to supervise these works and ensure that the contractors meet the specification.
All right, so Mr. President, and you are speaking in the capacity as president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica. Yes? To what extent do you and your members are familiar with what happens in the design and construction of roads in Jamaica? To what extent are you involved?
Maybe I don't understand the question. We are the constructors, so we clearly are very, very involved with the construction of it.
And am I correct in saying that that would presume inherently that you know when the specs are inadequate or adequate?
That might be in some cases we may have a feeling, but to say we know, just by the nature of the contract, it is just not our job, or we are not responsible or even given the authority to make a proclamation about what is right or wrong. We can really just give our opinion and suggestion to the official, the engineer of record.
So at the end of the day, you do not have the wherewithal to second check or guess, for want of a better term, what you have been given to do.
Right. It's outside of our remit.
Outside. So therefore, let me ask you a follow-up as a result. Beg your pardon, Ricardo. So this issue where the Jamaican public is of the view that we're not getting value for money, where should the Jamaican people start?
I mean, I know that when I'm concerned about something, I look at the person who's paying for it, the person who has paid for it. So if I pay my taxes to the government and to the road agency, I really have to look to them and say, I need my explanation from you.
And that's the National Works Agency as the implementing agency of the Jamaican state.
Logically, it seems so.
Yes. So my question, are they failing us?
Oh, that's an analytical question. Which
No, it's a straightforward question based on the questions and answers you have been giving me. Straightforward.
The reality of it is, the part that I have to add, and which I'm sure nobody wants to answer, is that with a limited budget, what do they think is the best approach? What does the governance, what do the taxpayers want? Do they want the best quality, most expensive road in the smallest geographical area, or do they want the the maximized amount of, but lower quality roads across the island? And that's maybe a political question that I can't answer.
No, sir.
So they're cutting corners to give us more roads.
I can't answer that question.
They're cutting corners on quality to make sure there are more roads.
That is a question. I'm not answering it. That's a question.
All right. Let me ask you this question. How often are these projects properly supervised in your experience?
From my membership and the complaints, I do get a lot of complaints from my membership where they're dissatisfied with the level of supervision given to the project. This is a common complaint, that they are not comfortable that that they're being held to a high standard, and they say, as on these projects, and I've got this complaint specifically, or in a large amount on these major road projects, they say that the engineering supervision is not held to the same standard. And I'm forced, and this is the word from my membership.
Mm-hmm. Wait, and then doesn't that mean then that you all, as contractors, are just left up to your own devices then?
No, we have contracts and we follow specifications, but
there's nobody checking to make sure that you are following it.
They're checking. They're not completely absent, but the quality and the depth and the responsiveness to allow. Let me actually put it to you this way, which is that what most people may or may not know, construction is very competitive, and we win or lose based on price. I represent contractors who, and my membership are vetted, but all contractors are not members of the Master Builders Association. The real boundary between a good actor and a bad actor is monitoring, supervision, and regulation. If you don't have good supervision and monitoring, you will let the bad actors, the contractors that the public complains about, you will let them take over if you don't monitor, supervise, and hold everyone to a standard.
Sure. Well, let me ask you, Mr. Mullings, your members, the membership of the Incorporated Master Builders Association, what do they bring to the profession, to the business, in terms of their training and experience?
The association over years, for decades, I should say, has lobbied for improving of the industry and improving the quality of the service provided by our members. So we invest in regular training of our members. We act as a focal point for our membership to discuss and review issues, these same issues that we have discussed on many previous occasions, so that we can and we try to improve the level of service over the years.
Therefore, you seem to be accepting some semblance of social responsibility. And
I mean, construction is spending the lion's share of the capital budget. We would have to take responsibility for the taxpayer dollars.
And you know where I'm going, Mr. Mullins, because I'm listening to you and I hear you dancing. Yes, as if you're afraid of somebody or some people. I hear you dancing. And that's why I asked you some minutes ago, speaking in the capacity as president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association. This is a huge problem for Jamaica. Yeah, as you say, we spend billions of dollars out of the capital budget. And here we are ever so often. And this is something I would think a responsible, brave, professional, courageous Incorporated Master Builders Association would have. You have the capacity in terms of your training and expertise. We don't have it. Yes, to really research and to tell the people of Jamaica, to lobby the people of Jamaica, not only your members, that this is where you are being scammed. And what do I get from you? I get from you a position like a tiptoeing around. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mr.
This is
Mullins.
what
Your
citizenship is about, you know, Mr. Mullins. When professionals, yeah, whether it be doctors, nurses, yeah, civil engineers, that we are the trained, you are the trained professionals. This is how we help country, you know. This is how we do. This is what we should do. And talk truth to power. And say, listen, for the $40 billion that we're about to spend in Spark, listener Jamaicans, don't let them fool you. You're not going to get value for half of that $40 billion because we have some structural plus inherent problems.
Yeah.
You know, we're going about this.
You know, Cliff, I would have to take some of that blame because the Master Builders does a lot of its work behind the scenes. We do a lot of lobbying. We participate at the expense of the time and effort of our members and our council, working on government committees and so on to promote what we think is a positive way. And I think in the public it is not necessarily seen. So I can understand your concern and your why that is what comes to mind. You do mention Spark, but I remind you that the local contractors are really a second thought to Spark. So we're not even... You're asking for the local industry to push.
What I'm asking for, sir, are those professionals.
You ask for the local industry to be an aggressor in achieving the standard. The local industry is fighting for survival in a country that prefers to use those from outside its borders.
And you know why that has been so. Don't you?
I'm not sure because the local industry is the ones who built this country up for many, many decades before there was an option.
And you tell the people of Jamaica that, and I hear it every day. Yes, the local contractors, them thief, them cut corners. When them supposed to put 1 inch or 2 inches, then put 1.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm saying, that the public is given that impression rather than somebody asking, who are we paying to monitor and supervise contractors? Clearly, contractors cannot operate on their own, on a lark, and put whatever they feel like. There are many, many, many persons who are paid to supervise.
Mr. Mullins, I don't know. Your organization, the IMAJ, is well placed to make a big difference. Yes? For me and Ricardo. Yeah, we don't know your business. We don't know your trade, your vocation. Yeah, you know what to look out for. You can play a big part in advising us. You can call us anytime and say, listen, I want to come and sit down with you for an hour. Yeah? To make you understand really what is going on. You don't just come and you tiptoe around it. We ask a question and you tiptoe around it. We can't get Mr. E.G. Hunter, he might hide. Yeah? And he's not being held to account. He's not being held to account. Yeah? Who the hell is being held to account how the billions of dollars are being spent? Yeah? You get a shower of rain and look at the roads. Look at the potholes. And we're going to spend $40 billion. And if you are to be believed, we're not going to get the value of $40 billion. If we get half of that, you're lucky.
No. Instead, I would say we have the potential to get that value if we hold our supervisors and our implementers to account. We have the potential, but they must be held to account. Because in this case, let's say, what if there's no Jamaican, hypothetically no Jamaican contractor? Suddenly the master builders has no say in the Spark program. You still need your supervisors. You still need the
You still need a supervisor. You still need the Incorporated Master Builders Association. Yes? Yeah. To lobby consistently, loudly. Yeah? Why we are in this position. Come on.
And I'm glad
this is what citizenship is about.
You have representatives of your professional engineers who you can also speak to. You have a professional engineers registration board. You have an institution of engineers, and you have a construction industry council. So they're all there to be called upon to represent.
Yeah.
Richard Mullings, President of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Step up, Mr. Mullings. Step up.
No, I appreciate the charge also.
All right. Have a good one. Up next, The Watchman.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Children, the helpless victims of Jamaica's high crime rate. Survey finds widespread abuse of children. Thus read the headline to the page 5 article by staff writer Alicia Dunkley Willis, which appeared in the November 15, 2024 edition of the Daily Observer. The article reported on the results of the 2023 Jamaica Violence Against Children and Youth Survey, funded by the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric Foundation and conducted by the University of the West Indies, Mona. According to the data contained in the survey, violence, often from parents and caregivers, is widespread, affecting 1/3, 31% males, and 38% females of our children. Nearly 1 in 2 females, 45%, and 2 in 5 males, 38%, witnessed physical violence in their homes, and half of them witnessed it in their neighborhoods, leaving emotional scars, the article said. Jamaica is a signatory to various international conventions which obligate the government to take actions toward ensuring the health and safety of children. One of these, the Convention on Rights of the Child, CRC, was ratified by the General Assembly of the United Nations on September 2, 1990. There are at least 2 provisions of the CRC of which Jamaica is in perennial violation. 1, the right of every child to a standard of living adequate for the child's physical, mental, spiritual, and moral, as well as social development. And 2, the right of the child to rest and leisure, to engage in play and recreational activities appropriate to the age of the child, and to participate freely in cultural life and the arts. Addressing the Ministry of Justice's Child Diversion Forum at the Spanish Court Hotel in commemoration of Child Month, May 2024, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said the following. I quote him from a newspaper report. The government intends to outlaw any form of corporal punishment. We have done so in the schools, and we want to do it in the homes because it is wrong. It doesn't help the child. End of quote by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. This commentary wishes to make listeners aware of an effect of crime and violence on children that is far more difficult to detect than the external damage caused by physical abuse, but which has serious and sometimes lifelong negative effects. I speak of what psychologists call crime-induced trauma, a mental disorder that affects large numbers of children who live in communities where the sound of gunfire is constant, where they must often pass dead bodies lying in their path, and where they invariably have experienced the loss of a close relative or caregiver to the scourge of crime and violence. It may make some people feel uncomfortable, but the evidence supports the conclusion that as parents and as a nation, we have created a society where many children are being placed at risk of becoming brain dead, dysfunctional, social misfits, with a high likelihood of them continuing the cycle of crime and violence. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Pass your exams at Maths Unlimited with Exam Pass, the 3-step system to exam success. 1. Complete critical topics in teaching sessions. 2. Do past paper questions by topic in practice sessions. 3. Revise intensely with topic reviews and exam drills. CSEC, CAPE, PEP, City and Guilds, face-to-face and online. Call or WhatsApp 876-540-9281.
Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The time by the 1JN Passport app is
12 minutes after 7.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Upgrade your HVAC system with Geddes Refrigeration Limited. They specialize in engineering, project design, and implementation of the perfect system tailored to your home or business. For top-notch service and unbeatable reliability, trust Geddes Refrigeration Limited. Email them at grljasocialmedia@gmail.com or call 876-923-652-1-3 or visit 226 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11. Don't wait. Stay cool with Geddes Refrigeration Limited today. Your comfort is their priority.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Jamaica, your government has delivered. 100 brand new CNG buses are now rolling out across the island. Enjoy lower bus fares, short wait times, and air-conditioned comfort on every ride. Enjoy a smoother commute and more savings every day. It's all part of our commitment to lower the cost of living and improve your daily commute.
Brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Girl, guess what? November 19, International Men's Day. Yes, my friend. And Cliff Hughes Online is broadcasting from the talk of the town at the Jamaica Pegasus on November 19 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Right. We did hear the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport have an International Men's Day observation and celebration under the theme Aspire to Inspire Healthy Men, Healthy Families.
It's CM1. Plus, we expect to hear from many prominent individuals, especially the Minister herself, the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange.
Never tell my brother, my father, and my uncle to visit the talk of the town, Jamaica Pegasus, November 19.
Well, I'm telling my husband, my grandfather, nephew, and cousin to tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, had a new revolution in media.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
There is no way you can predict who a person will be tomorrow, and having a partner today might mean a lot of give and take. But are you prepared to know that the longer you're together, the easier it is to slip? Are you prepared to forgive cheating or even expect it to happen? If it does and you've been together a few years, do you keep starting a new relationship every few years or do you learn to live with a possible reality? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if you want a partner who's perfect, who you plan to spend your life with?
Mr. Perfect. Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy, Super Happy, Super Healthy, Supermed, and Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
It's the West Kingston Constituency Conference at Tivoli Gardens High. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, November 21 for this broadcast. See you at Tivoli Gardens and hear from party leader, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Winston Ennis, Fable Williams, Everald Warmington, Matthew Samuda, and others. Plus, stay tuned to hear from Desmond McKenzie. So don't miss Nationwide at 5 on Thursday, November 21 from 6 to 9 p.m. It's the West Kingston Constituency Conference. Catch Nationwide at 5 or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the West Kingston Constituency Office.
18 minutes after 7. This is Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
We're going to go to the United States now, where the future of illegal migrants remain uncertain following the winning of that decisive victory by Donald Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris a couple of weeks ago. Well, today, Trump said, listen, he's prepared to declare a national emergency to facilitate mass deportations of what he calls the illegals in America, demonstrating and reinforcing his rhetoric that he's serious about engaging in mass deportations. And the figures range from anywhere between 10 and 13 million illegal migrants living in the United States. Several questions about how mass deportations will be done. What will be the impact on the labor market in the United States of America? Trump doesn't seem to care much about that at all. He wants to fulfill a campaign promise to secure the border and get rid of the illegals.
The president-elect says his administration will seal the borders.
A country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally.
Donald Trump there, the president-elect of the United States. He has named a border czar, that's Tom Homan. And Homan, listeners, is a notorious hardline immigration. You could call him an activist almost in the positions he's taken. He has also said that, look, he has taken aim at things like birthright citizenship, which is a citizen being naturally born in the United States. He's saying that he doesn't believe the Constitution of the U.S. allows a person born to an illegal immigrant to naturally receive U.S. citizenship. It's never been tested in the courts, but I have reason to believe that in the conservative outlook of the U.S. Constitution, he could well be right, because the conservative supermajority on the U.S. Supreme Court, they use a legal theory, listeners, that they call originalism, which is that they say they interpret the Constitution based on how those who drafted the particular provision meant it to be understood. And I don't struggle to see how they could return a ruling that says the framers of that amendment did not intend illegal immigrants to benefit. It's not, you don't have to struggle hard to see how they could get there.
Right.
So, as Cliff said, a lot of jitters as to what's going to happen.
I see reports of Americans or the migrants rushing to go across the border. Some are rushing to leave America, heading for places like Brazil and other parts of the world. And the immigrant community is very fearful. Yeah, I saw a report last evening. Haitians are fleeing Ohio. Yeah, where they had temporary status. They are fleeing. Well, we're turning this evening to immigration attorney in Texas, an immigrant rights activist, Kalfani Fullerton, and another immigration attorney in America, Simone Williams. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Kalfani Fullerton.
Good. Let me begin.
Good evening, Simone Williams, based in Washington, D.C., immigration attorney.
Good. Let me begin with you, Simone Williams. What can you tell us? The mood, the reactions to the Trump victory in the immigrant, especially those who are undocumented immigrants in the United States.
Well, to piggyback on what you were saying, I mean, there's a lot of fear, particularly among the immigrant community, a lot of angst, anxiety among immigrants and immigration lawyers alike. Everybody there's an increase of people speaking to uncertainty about the future, for sure. And we're seeing an uptick in people looking to file their cases, just in fear and uncertainty of what exactly is going to happen with the Trump administration. As we just heard, he's now talked about this plan for mass deportation. But I'd like to clarify that it's mass deportation of undocumented workers. And what does undocumented individuals, what does that mean? It's people who have entered the United States without inspection. They're called EWI, entry without inspection. So it's not everybody. So there are people in the U.S. that are pending asylum. There are people who are pending cases. There are people who entered the U.S. and may not have status. It appears to me that the group of people that he's most concerned about at this point, that makes up about 3% of the population, are undocumented individuals, people who have entered the United States without inspection.
Mm-hmm. And Kalfani, from where you sit in Texas, tell us the mood in the undocumented immigrant community.
Well, I would like to clarify that. You become undocumented when you overstay, basically, right? Once you go out of status, right? So in the U.S. there are two categories of undocumented immigrants: the ones who come into the U.S. and they're actually inside the U.S., and then the overstays, the people who come in legally with a visa, and they stay, so they're out of status, and basically they have no documents. They cannot show unless they are married. If you come into the U.S. with a visa, and let's say you are married to a U.S. citizen, or you have a son or daughter who files for you, they're over 21, you could basically adjust your status, although you've overstayed your visa, right? You could have those. But now, in terms of the Trump administration talking about mass deportation, he tried to do it when he was in office, but he didn't talk about mass deportation like that. Oh, he's talking now. He tried it and he failed, and he's going to fail again. Because we have a cadre of lawyers. We have the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and the different different groups of lawyers who are going to fight him tooth and nail, right? Because the Constitution of the United States protect everyone within the United States, whether you're undocumented or whether you came in without papers, without inspection. The Constitution applies to you. That's the first thing when you become a U.S. citizen. You have to take that test. They will tell you that. So they have certain rights, because they can't, if they come and pick you up, you have certain procedural rights. So I would advise, the undocumented people to make sure you consult with a competent lawyer.
Mr. Fullerton, there is a fear, though, that the incoming Trump administration, they are planning for the legal challenges. And so the argument is they see their out for this as going to the U.S. Supreme Court to get a ruling that would effectively nullify any attempts in inferior courts to stop them. You seem to be relying on those legal safeguards holding. Are you sure that they will?
Look, there are certain legal safeguards for undocumented, immigrants. There are, and I think the way the legal system is structured, after practicing for the last 36 years, I've had cases where he has attempted. I have clients who have been in deportation proceedings for 10 years now. So he's going to be out of office before he accomplish all that. Mind you, those who are coming at the borders, right now, those he may succeed with, he could turn around and turn them back, right? Normally, but if they're seeking asylum, and they have a credible fear of persecution, right? Those cases, we're going to fight all the way to the Supreme Court.
Simone Williams, are you as confident in the legal guardrails holding?
Very good point. However, I think that the issue is with the legal system kind of flawed in the sense because Trump has really stacked the judicial system with a lot of his appointees, people who are kind of in line with his policies. And I mean, this is why, he stacked the Supreme Court with his appointees. He's appointing people that are in line with how he thinks. And that's the issue that we have. I mean, we may have a legal system, but we also have judges that are more were specifically put in place to support him.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
Yeah. And where you are, Mr. Fullerton, in Texas, you're governed by the Fifth Circuit, a notoriously conservative appeals court that seems bent on doing Mr. Trump's bidding in a lot of these cases.
You are absolutely correct. I mean, but I have been to the Fifth Circuit with cases, and they have backed down. Yes, the Fifth Circuit is conservative, but remember, we can go to the Ninth Circuit, which is more immigrant friendly. So normally when we fight, we will go into like the state of Washington, and we try to bring a national case into the into the Ninth Circuit. Normally, that's where we go. All right. But yes, the Fifth Circuit is very conservative, but I've been very successful at the Fifth Circuit too.
Simone Williams.
Very conservative. Yes, I would not. If I want to say a nationwide decision, like counsel said, Trump has stacked the district courts, the appellate courts with a lot of his judges. That is true. That is correct. But we still have, federal judges, they have a lifetime appointment. So we have courts that are favorable to immigrants.
Simone
like
Williams, just a
Ninth
moment.
Circuit in California.
Just
for
a moment,
example.
Mr. Fullerton. Let me bring back.
This is a challenge. I mean, we may have courts that are favorable, but the goal for them is to get to the Supreme Court. And once you get to the Supreme Court, we have all these conservative judges that were appointed by Trump. So, that is the challenge. It's not that we don't have courts that are favorable to immigrants and may be okay, but there definitely will be trying to bring it up to the Supreme Court at that point.
Simone, I want to go a little bit more granular with you because what I'm hearing from the underground in New York tri-state area, there are Jamaicans, and I'm hearing it mainly from Jamaicans, who are now being encouraged by their immigration attorneys. These are Jamaicans who are undocumented, by the way, to go get married now. Yes, if you can find a partner, and whether through business or genuine love, go get married now. Get married fast before January 20 when Trump gets into office. Is that feasible? Is that a protection?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, if you do file your case before the 20th, before he issues these executive orders, and, a lot of the immigration policies he tends to put in place are not subject to approval by Congress because they're executive orders. And so, he just puts them in place, and that's that. But to your point, technically speaking, if you were to file your case before the 20th, have your case in process, I don't really see how he's going to go back to pending, cases that are already in process. This will probably happen from day moving forward, not, how is he going, they're going to be, as the attorney already said, they're going to have their status by being pending green card holders, because at that point, when you file based on marriage, you're now in status. You have a status of being a pending green card holder. So that is an option. And people, as I know, are looking to file. Everyone is trying to seek to file their cases before the January 20th. Because to be certain that no policies that are issued on day 1, day 2 will then impact them.
Is that your view, Mr. Fullerton?
Well, basically I agree, but one, I will caution everyone: if you're gonna get married, make sure it's a good faith marriage. It's against the law. It's a felony to marry for immigration purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if you came into the United States with a visa and you overstay and you're married to a U.S. citizen, or you have a child who is over the age of 21, they could file for you. And if you file before January 20th, before Trump's get into office, absolutely you're going to be okay, right? When he gets into office, he's going to do certain executive order, but I think you're going to be okay after January 20th, because the immediate relative provision of the immigration law it's by statute. So Congress would have to come in and do away with that statute.
Mm-hmm.
As it stands now, if you're a U.S. citizen, you could file for your spouse, your children, and your brothers and sisters. You could still file for them.
Mm-hmm.
As the law stands. And the law has not really been changed since 1996.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, if we were to say that the policy impacts undocumented people, right? Then those folks that are not who are not entering into good faith marriages,
I can't hear.
They would be impacted. They would be impacted.
Could you repeat that for us, Simone? Kalfani not hearing you too well. Could you repeat that for us?
Yeah, so I was just saying that he's saying that it is a statute that U.S. citizens have a right to apply for their foreign spouse, and that's by statute, so that's been in effect for quite a long time now. But that being said, if the policy is to round up undocumented people that are out of status, if they're not in status by the time, when he puts this policy, then they could be affected if they find their names. And not married, they have to actually be married, right? And then they could apply for their paperwork. Another thing that also came up, just to go into another issue, is that how is Trump's administration going to find people and their names, right? Because there's a process in which they could, if they've entered the U.S. illegally and they've been here for quite a long time, how is he going to actually find those people who he believes are undocumented? That's going to be another hairy issue for him to even come up with the names. But the point is, if you've ever, I guess there is some type of process where if you came in and you don't have any status, and they can't find status on you, and you came in, if you came in illegally, for instance, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you came there without any paperwork, because there's no record of you in the system.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to that's the question, is how are they going to actually find you to be rounding you up?
Has anything like this been attempted before, Kalfani Fullerton? Mass deportation?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Has there been any previous attempt at mass deportation, as he puts it?
No, in terms of it's gonna be virtually impossible for you to have mass deportation, as he would say. As Trump is promising. Like counsel said that, how are you gonna find out if I came in without inspection? So what I would advise the public: look, stay out of trouble. Do not go into the checkpoint area at the border. If you go into the border, you're subject to inspection. right?
So they can't pick
if
you up.
you don't
So
get
he can't have
arrested,
the. Hold on, you can't have
chances
the.
are there's a 1% chance
Hold on,
of you
Mr.
being placed in deportation in the U.S.
So,
based on my experience.
So, Mr. Fullerton.
But when you have encounter with the police and getting in trouble, getting arrested, and then once you go into jail, immigration will be there waiting for you. And if you're not documented, yes, they will put you in deportation proceeding, but you still have certain rights. Still.
Mr. Fullerton, so they can't go to the train stations, the bus stops, where they know, they can't go to the train stations, the bus stops, profile people, and say, come show me your papers.
No, no, but they're not supposed to do it. It's unconstitutional. You have the right. You know, you in terms of you're protected by the Fourth Amendment. To unreasonable search and seizure.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know if he will be playing by the rules. He doesn't play by the rules, does he?
Well, we will. The last time he was here, we fought him on a lot of issues in the Ninth Circuit.
Yes.
And he's back. He will be out of office before he'll be able to implement most of these things.
You seem to be very confident.
Except at the border.
You seem to know something that the rest of us doesn't know, Mr. Fullerton.
So I have a quick comment to make.
I understand.
Hold on, Mr. Fullerton.
I deal with these cases.
Okay, hold on.
And for you to get a hearing in immigration court, right? For you to get for most, it's like 3 years from today, probably.
Ms. Williams? Ms. Williams?
And then you have a right to an appeal.
No, hold on, Mr. Fullerton. Hold on,
He's going to
Mr.
be out of office before.
Okay, hold it there for me, Mr. Fullerton. Ms. Williams is trying to say something. Go ahead, Simone.
Attorney Fullerton, I understand that, but I guess my concern is that because he has the majority in Congress, and he has a majority in Congress where the Republicans will pass and agree with legislation, his legislation. He has the majority in the House and the Senate. So that's the concern. He has the majority in the House and the Senate, and he also has a conservative Supreme Court. So whether it's fair or not, how do we, that's the challenge and that's the concern, that these policies and rules may be approved by the fact that he's controlling everything at this point.
Yes.
The Republicans control everything, that is.
I understand. But we have a Senate. As long as there's the filibuster, in order for you to bring up, right, in terms of the law relating to immigration, right, to change it, you need 60 votes. And I don't think if the laws are draconian, they're not going to get 60 votes. The Democrats are going to hold.
Mr. Fullerton, today he is reported as saying that he is prepared to declare a national public emergency to facilitate mass deportations. What does the declaration of a national public emergency mean for movement of people?
No, that's a farce. I'm not even going to entertain that. In terms of national emergency, for what? For most of the immigrants in the U.S., they're law-abiding people, right? They're law-abiding people, and
so
you're not. You're going to suspend the Constitution? The U.S. Constitution applies to everyone within the border.
Okay. Miss Williams, you were trying to say?
Yeah, so just to give some context, all of the executive orders that he did when he came into office that are concerned immigration was always for a quote-unquote emergency reason. So it's just the verbiage that they use to be able to, execute all of these executive orders. I mean, he had an executive order against Muslim countries, for instance, a Muslim ban.
Mm-hmm.
So any like countries that were Muslim were prohibited from immigrating to the U.S. And that was for a year until it was a year or so, more than a year, I guess. So a lot of, that's the language they use. It's always quote unquote an emergency. It doesn't have to be an emergency, but that's what they use when they're trying to declare these kind of things. And I think, that's the way he's able to execute the executive order to begin with. It has to be a quote unquote an emergency, which is why he doesn't need approval from Congress to do that.
Okay.
So I presume that this emergency that he's saying to execute this mass deportation will be proposed via an executive order. That's kind of my understanding of how it's going to be executed anyway.
Okay. Thank you very much, Simone Williams, Kalfani Fullerton. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the perspective. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
I just want to say, I think Mr. Fullerton is being very, very hopeful. And Ms. Williams spoke to the Muslim ban, and I just pulled up that case, Trump v. Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to read a line from Justice Clarence Thomas's concurring opinion. In that case, the court upheld Trump's constitutional power to shut the borders to majority Muslim countries. It triggered a flurry of litigation. It's one of the first executive orders he signed when he came into office. Mm-hmm. And as you heard Mr. Fullerton saying there, if they don't get their way in the Fifth Circuit, they'll go to the Ninth Circuit. Mm-hmm. The problem with that, which Ms. Williams was right to point out, is that Trump has stacked the judiciary in such a way. One of the major achievements of his first term is that he appointed a lot of young white conservative judges. I'm just going to read this line, because what Mr. Fullerton seems to be relying on, Justice Thomas has already flagged that they intend to put a stop to it. He says, in sum, universal injunctions are legally and historically dubious. If federal courts continue to issue them, this court, that is the Supreme Court, is duty-bound to adjudicate their authority to do so. In other words, taking it to the Ninth Circuit, so the Ninth Circuit can issue, or a district court in the Ninth Circuit can issue a nationwide injunction blocking the president. Mm-hmm. Clarence Thomas already signaled that he believes, and if you follow the court, he is the leader of these radical conservatives, that practice, he says, is dubious. Doubtful. And if lower courts continue to do it, he has called on his colleagues at the Supreme Court
to stop it,
to put a stop to it. And this was before Mr. Trump had gotten his 3 appointees. Yeah, this was a time when the court was said to be moderate.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna hold. I don't know.
We're going to take a break, and after the break, we come back with your calls. 876-630-93-7124 or 618-8255.
Ready to make every step count? The CB Group UE5K is back for its 13th year, and together we're changing lives. And this year we're aiming for 100 more scholarships, 100 more dreams fulfilled. Join us on Sunday, November 24 at 6:30 a.m. at UE Mona. Let's run for dreams, run for hope, and run for a brighter future at the CB Group UE5K and Run with Passion Kids K. Register now at runningeventsja.com, and let's make a difference one step at a time.
Fa la 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 la. Did you hear that? It is almost Christmas, and Fosrich is having a super solar lighting sale. Yes, you heard right. From now until November 25th, enjoy 20% off your selection of solar wall lamps, garden lights, and solar flood lamps. You can't afford to miss the sale. It is the Fosrich Super Solar Lighting Sale, now until November 25th. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Montego Bay, and Draxall. Shop and save only with Fosrich.
I only have hate. Make yourself comfortable in authentic Hanes underwear. Nothing beats the never out of style ultra soft 100% premium cotton Hanes underwear. Hanes Comfort Fit V, crew neck and A shirts, absorbent Hanes socks, Comfort Flex Hanes boxer briefs for men, and stylish itch-free Hanes underwear for women and kids. Make yourself comfortable this holiday season, inside, out, and underneath with Hanes underwear for that cool all-day comfort everyone deserves.
I only have Hanes for you.
Shop at Mark's Superstore Furniture and Hardware, located in Lioneltown and Portland Cottage Fair, Clarendon.
They have hardware items, furniture, televisions, washing machines, freezers, refrigerators, beds and bedding, household appliances, home accessories, and more.
Every Thursday, get 10% discount on cooking gas, excluding deliveries.
Visit any of their 2 locations or call 876-919-6067.
Mark's Superstore Furniture and Hardware, quick and fast delivery.
We're taking your calls, 630-937-124, 618-8255. Faithful, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening.
Yes, listen to the master builder this evening, right? It seems like we are in a very dark place. And in other words, he give no hope. As you to say, things just go nonchalant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get from him. I this is where I say there's no sense of fixity. There's no sense of you want to ensure that the taxpayer of this country get the best value for money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as if to say they have no interest of to make it work and make it then better.
Mm-hmm.
And the government agency, Mr. the man that you're trying to reach,
Mr. E.J. Hunter.
right? If he gives the incentive why his taxpayer must he does willy nilly, and there's nothing more than that.
But we are his bosses. Who is his boss? The Minister of Works and the Prime Minister. Yes? They have facilitated him to dodge the public over the years. He's not held accountable except when they bring him before Parliament's Appropriations Committee. He doesn't speak to the people of Jamaica on whose behalf he's spending billions of dollars. Yeah? And we're not happy with it. Yes? And the Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Holness, and his Minister, Mr. Robert Morgan, they facilitate him.
Is it not answer to Mr. Morgan?
Yes. Yes. And they don't tell him to get up off his rump and go and face the people of Jamaica and account for how they're spending our money. Yes.
Because it is a revolving door, keep happening every year.
Or you should leave the gym and come and speak with us.
Come on, man.
Yes.
They can't just handle taxpayer money like that. Because they're going to fix it today and tomorrow they're going to mash up again, and then it's not the guy, just taxpayer money.
Yes. And nothing.
It seems very hopeless.
Yes.
In the state, I listened to the 2 lawyers, particularly the one from Texas. What he was trying to explain, in my view, as it to say, Mr. Trump cannot do nothing because things going to run normal. But that thing, what he left out the picture, that Mr. Trump is not a normal man.
Yes.
And not only that,
quite right.
The U.S. presidency has always operated under certain conventions that you don't test the limits, the outer limits of presidential power, right? Mm-hmm. Most presidents have never done it. Donald Trump has.
Right.
He has tested the very outer limits of his power.
He has pushed the borders, right, the boundaries.
And I keep reminding people, last term, the Supreme Court held that when he pushes those borders to their extreme limits, he has absolute immunity for quote-unquote official acts.
Mm-hmm.
As the commander-in-chief, surely if he decides that there's a national security threat and he has to protect the homeland, that has to constitute an official act.
Yep.
It would be unreasonable to say that the leader of a country
can't do that.
I don't see how a court decides that. So I don't know. I'm not as hopeful. I think he absolutely has the power to do it.
I'm saying, it is not. That's what the Supreme says, given the authority, say, boy, being a president, that same president, being a president, he have certain power to do what you want to do.
Yes, once it's considered an official act.
Yeah, and in addition, in my view, you have the Supreme Court, you have the Congress, you have the Senate, you have the White House. What is it does now? He have McGate.
You're absolutely right about that. Because if he's confirmed as Attorney General, I don't know. There is the last bastion of resistance I can think of right now in the American body politic would be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the military commanders, and obviously again he's the commander in chief. So if they defy him, he'll just fire them.
Exactly. Everything's under his control.
Everything.
And I'm there to say, all the president are observing in the state. I think Trump is the most powerful one because when previous administrators make their pick, they somewhat behold to the president, but Trump seems like he have total control over
he expects total loyalty in a way that previous presidents, certainly in modern times, they've never required or expected. Yes.
Leave Mr. Trump alone.
No.
Election.
That's not a comment on the correctness of it or whether he can or cannot. I'm just saying I'm agreeing with Faithful that's what's happening.
No,
Faithful.
I am not against Mr. Trump do what he's doing, I'm just stating fact of what it is.
I support him.
Right.
Elections have consequences. He won a mandate, and there can be no question that he told the American people exactly what he would do.
Yes.
Yeah, there can be no question.
Because he explicitly say
Yes.
That's what he's going to do.
Absolutely.
And the people of America say, yes, this is what we wanted.
Right. That is the democratic will of the American people, and he's carrying that out.
Particularly so much of the Latino vote and also black vote.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that's what they want.
Yes. Jacqueline Thomas is online. She's a Trumpy. She calls him Trumpy. So I call she a Trumpy. Yes. She said, leave him alone.
No, I agree. Let him do it.
I think he should fulfill his mandate.
Yes. And
and they must feel it. That is what they voted for.
Exactly.
Oh.
I firmly believe that elections have consequences.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that too.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I like about American politics. One of the things is that when they elect a president, he's supposed to put people in position to carry out their mandate.
Absolutely.
And after the end of the term, if you don't like the mandate, then we vote them out.
As in any democracy.
Yeah, as in any democracy. But I don't sure if that's so much within Jamaica. In Jamaica, whoever win prime minister, I think they are beholden to some stuff that are there maybe from the previous administration and could hamper the policy of the government that is coming in, whether PNP or JLP, and I don't think that's right.
The Westminster form of government, yes.
I don't think
that
right.
entrenches the Whitehall system of civil servants and bureaucrats who are quote unquote independent
and neutral. This notion of neutrality.
Neutral. Yes.
That died in the 1970s in Jamaica.
Yes.
That died. And we still continue to pretend that our civil servants are neutral.
Yes.
They're not neutral.
Exactly. That is one of the reasons why I don't like it.
Because when the U.S. president comes in, he has 4,000 vacancies to fill.
Yes.
At his nomination, his appointment, he embodies the executive power.
He should.
Not so here.
I think that we should go there. Yeah. There are some positions.
Some. Yes.
Some positions.
Yes. And I have long agreed. Some positions should be in the gift of the executive. I agree. Because others should be confirmed by the parliament.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
No question about that.
Mm-hmm. That is the reason why I don't like when some people complain and say that only 37% of person vote the last time. And the person who complain the most are those persons who don't vote, but they want to stay on the sideline and dictate what should happen.
Mm-hmm.
They say that in and of itself is a part of participation.
No, but if you don't like who's going to go there, you should go out and participate and put who you want to be there.
Them say no better herring, no better barrel. So them now make that choice. So this is a
that's
false
not,
choice.
No, that's not true. But if you have 30%, 37%, what am the 63%?
Yeah, me I tell you, say them say there is them now choose between the two evils. They say there is no lesser of there's no lesser evil. There's just evil, and they're not making that choice.
We speak up. I'm not talking about. We speak of Marcus Garvey, and he have a movement. The movement that Marcus Garvey having, it was not only, it was both political and the movement that people back to Africa. Marcus Garvey, was it not a political party also? So why is that most of us who say we defend Marcus Garvey, we not defend Marcus Garvey in its entirety, both in the political sense and all the aspect of which he preached.
All right, Faithful, we have to run now.
Thank you, Faithful.
Dana Davy.
And good evening to all of those on YouTube. Herman, Ruth Richards, Sharon Forbes, Philip Jackson, Ines Campbell, Everett McDonald, Barbara Johnson, Jacqueline Trumpy Thomas. Yes, yeah.
Did you say good evening to my friend Carleen?
No, I didn't say Carleen.
Hi, Carleen, and the love of my life, Marigold Weber.
Oh, Marigold is a trooper.
Yeah.
Real trooper.
Good.
That's how we're going to leave it for this evening. Thank you so much to all of our listeners, YouTubers, WhatsAppers, and of course, our producer, Dana Davy, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.